next week's trades. And this is the 4-hour chart with the Eurodollar against 4 currencies. In essence, this is the Eurodollar index. And I could put up the dollar index just by going to another broker and setting up the dollar against the yen, the Swiss, and the CAD. And I don't know what the other, I don't think there's another currency pair for that dollar. So here you've got the opportunity to trade, you know, the best setup. And if you had moving averages here, which one's giving the best signal, which one's rolling over next, I could run RSI. I could look for the leading indicator or the leading out of these instruments. But this configuration here is kind of nice because you couldn't, I don't think you could do this in MetaTrader before, so this first time, this is like MT5 runs like this. And next week looks like a bonanza for a possible pullback in Euro. And are we going to get on the Euro train? And I'm not a fundamentalist, but of course, this big explosion in the Euro has a lot of people bullish. But I think we could be due for some pullbacks. And if nothing else, we could make money on the opening on Sunday. Who's going to get hit the worst, and what kind of how deep do we want to trade these markets? I have a 20 pip grid here, so I'm looking at my ATR being kind of I can run bigger, deeper orders on the starting out on the Euro pound. So I'd say enter all your starting orders here and get a feel for start here, because it's the easiest pair to trade, I think, from a 20 pip standpoint. I don't know if there's that much volatility on this pair. Here's a 20 pip smash. So this 20 pip grid, if your 20 pip orders have, say, 3 orders attached, so you're getting in on these nodes, and say you're going to buy every 20, like say at this moment right here, you don't know what's going on, right? When this gets taken out and you see this, my estimation at that point is it's too late to sell. But what if I had buy limits that bought every 20 pips all the way to, say, here is my master stop. Now that's either a micro account or that's a nano account or whatever it might be. Same thing here. When we take out this low, you have a bank that starts buying every 20 pips with a master stop. That's what that order would have to look like. Now that's on one hotkey. Here is a painfully obvious top became a bottom, so you should have been able to get on that one. Next week we could come drift back here. I'm looking to buy next week. I'm dropping 20 pip grids that last for 4 hours. And let that go. Come back 4 hours, punch it again. But I'm also going to overlap it with a 2-hour and a 3-hour at different prices. So I'm going to use the 2, the 3, and the 4-hour scripts only, so that when the market drops, or I can have the 6 running. The 6-hour orders are going to be at, say, every 40 pips, because this is going to take time. If this order is getting filled, that's okay, because that order lasted 6 hours. So as we're coming down like this, if you have an 8-hour order that buys every 100 pips, right? that's going to get filled just by the fact that by the time the market drops, in other words, this is dropped, this is 60 pips up, and now they take this low out. And you've already dropped, in other words, this pause here is just a chance for these guys to get short because of this last known support. So the pending order guys are like, holy crap. Or the guy that bought here. Like psychologically, the guy that bought here thinking, oh, I'm going to get in right here with my stop here. Don't forget, when he got to here, the scalpers came in. Because they took their 20 pips and ran. And when they hit his stop, he got all flustered. And then they just totally tortured the market here. So when we get these nodes like this and these big controversies, we're always going to want to get back in here. And look at the controversy here where this support used to exist. So if you're going to sell these things with pendings, your sell limits here would have never got filled. But look at the collapse. Now, Sunday, it's not like I'm going to put a buy stop here. It's not like that wouldn't work. The guy that was making fun of in that video, to some degree, well, hopefully he has a buy stop trailing here that lasts 4 hours, say, right? 20 pips north, kind of a bad entry. I'm thinking more like, why not put a buy limit 20 pips south? In other words, if you think this is going to happen, who's getting in on stops here? Well, maybe the guy that says, you know, when they take this, when this hole gets filled, in other words, the whole time that's plunging, there's a vapor lock above. So you are kind of running these scalps, possibly, but it's too late to think about selling into that. Of course, that's a 4-hour chart. Maybe you drop down to the 1 hour and you got sell stops running underneath, so as it cascades down. But that's a whole other issue of, if you're going to trade on stops, you're going to have to go to the 15-minute chart and be pressing the button continuously. Like, in other words, as this is coming down, you're like, okay, well, you know, you're looking for your orders to stack up. This burst is coming. But you're also getting filled on the limits. Now imagine on the 1 hour chart, just one instrument, what this would be like to day trade this system. If this is 1 day, and this is kind of a strange way to trade, but this is 1 day, and here is the Asian session. So you put in a buy limit 20 pips deep that lasts all day. And on this currency pair, you could almost have your orders last all day in here. Here is the Asian Open, and you're going to buy 20 pips deep. Or you're going to sell 20 pips above, too, for a possible smashback. But you think it's an uptrend and whatever. Now, you could also have sell limits here Sunday for the, and so your stops up here, say, but you have a cluster up here of sell limits. And just range trading this thing. I mean, how did that trade work out for you? If you put up a sell orders up in this 20 pip, and you got like a 5K running on that. So it's really a scalp bank, master stop up here, and take profits below, looking to make the ultimate double your money off of one of these tickets. The buy grid side of that would be, you're buying every 20 pip window. You skip a 20 pipper, right? And this grid comes in like this. So think about islands, order entry islands, right? Iceberg, iceberg. This is a 1 hour iceberg. That's H1. This is H2. This is H3. Since you're running 4 currency pairs, You're continuously dropping this. Now this is a retracement strategy. You could have the dollar again. You could have the dollar CAD version of the dollar to the Swiss dollar to the CAD dollar to the blah 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 version of this too, or you could have all 7 running. If you know in your mind's eye what these things do and how long they last and what you're prepared for risk-wise, you could have a 12-hour script, say, that comes in like this. Now, the sky's the limit on this technique. Think about this trade coming into next week. Buy limit here, buy limit here, and buy limit here lasts all week. But here there is actually a crop. You've got a scalp bank down here, just mind-blowing crap. Same thing here. What I wasn't able to do was place, another thing is you just hand drop the puppies, right? Just keep going like this and this and this. But then you got to decide, well, is this going to be the scalp? Is this going to be the swing? Is this going to be... But you're clustering them up. Now, you could do hand drops that just keep disappearing every 15 minutes. Single drop entry. Here would have just been like, okay, well, you know, I still got a lingering one there. I still believe in that trade. I still got a lingering sell limit here or sell stop. I've just made this money. Okay, on the 1-hour chart, if you were to try to trade this strategy in the 1-hour chart, it's going to be a little different because you're thinking, man, I'm going to try to make 10 pips. Your grid's going to look like this on the 15. Huge order banks that last 15 minutes because you want to get in. Like this market's coming back. Let me start over. And okay, you're trading the market, right? How do you do this when the market's open? So the market's plunging like a whore, right? As it's plunging like a whore on a, if you're a scalping trader, you're putting buy stops in here, right? Because you're looking for the retrace at any moment. But in the meantime, you're putting in buy limits. So you know you're getting picked up here. You know you're getting a little killed. If you bought here with a 20 pip stop, you're already out. If you bought here for a bounce off of this, here's the 1 hour. This is how many hours of coming down? If you waited till your buy limit got filled here, so your 20 pip, you stopped out of this, you've got, okay, you bought here, 20 pip stop, you're out. You bought here, 20 pip stop, you're in. You got a 20 pip winner or 40 pip winner. You keep pressing the key, it keeps putting in orders down here. Maybe it doesn't make it. Maybe this is your trade. That's it. Now you come in with the 15s on the 10 pip handles. So you're literally putting in a mesh. As the market quiets down, you need to adjust your orders. When the market's on fire, you're going in kind of gingerly, let's say. Like right here, the market's plunging. If you didn't have your sell limit at this thing to capture that entry for a rip down of, say, 20 pips, you're not going to make a lot of pips. You're not going to lose a lot of pips on this currency pair. But coming into Sunday night, maybe you got buy stops sitting here, right? And they last a while. And of course, here's the painfully obvious fractal. If we take that out, maybe we're going to continue up. But we could also get a plunge down into here. What if we buy here for a 10 pip winner, a 15, a 30, but we have another order in here that's going to make this much. And these things are constantly stacking up. If you zoom out one level into this 4-hour chart, you'd see that you would have massive sleeper orders here to just buy like with a 40 pip stop to make this much. Here you're going to buy with, say, a 40 pip stop to make this much. So these are always sitting there waiting for the, they take out the support, they stop hunt 20, 30 pip window here, right? So this is the 30 pip smash and grab here. We're getting in right here, see? Like right here. So This is the 4-hour chart we're getting in here. We need to make those first 40 pips. Stop entry guys got ripped to pieces here. Sure, they made 20 pips, but they pulled it all the way back here. They pull it back to here. If we're always running a trailing buy limit strategy, we're always going to make money on a bounce. If our orders are evaporating over time, we will never get filled. We may go through the whole day without getting filled. At the same time, as the market falls back slowly, we're getting it on stops. So we get a drift back. We've got stops. We have not fallen below. You could still have a moving average on here, I suppose, right? But obviously, the euro, everybody wants it now. And the euro really is the Forex market in essence, because it is it's the currency experiment. And I think we could still pull back. I know a lot of people think this is the time to sell. They probably think it's the time to sell gold too, but maybe that's over. So I just had this big feeling of a turning point here. And looking at the New Zealand dollar too, which the New Zealand and Australia dollar are on their own separate worlds there. And I think maybe those would be fit for trading on one platform, just those two pairs only. But yeah, that's my trade plan for next week on the trading everything against the euro, so to speak.